Good day everyone, especially to Ma'am Gina Galbu. I am Ayesa Compania, a student from BSed English 1, and today let's talk about the contemporary foreign and economic policies in the Philippines. The Philippines is one of the world's largest archipelago nations. It is situated in the Southeast Asia and the Western Pacific Ocean. It is bounded by the Philippine Sea to the southwest and the South China Sea to the west and north. It consists of about 7,640 islands. Its islands are classified into three main geographical areas, namely Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Because of its archipelagic nature, Philippines is a culturally diverse country. With its topography consisting of mountainous terrains, dense forests, plains, and coastal areas, the Philippines is rich in biodiversity. It is considered as one of the mega biodiversity countries in the world with a high percentage of flora and fauna endemism. Moving on to the real discussion, let's talk about the Philippine foreign policy. Our stood-fit commitment towards a principled foreign policy serves as the bedrock of our foreign relations. Our foreign policy is not only about managing our relations with the global community. It is about nurturing a safe and secure environment in accordance with the rule of law that is conducive to inclusive growth in order to benefit our people. It is intended to harness the newfound business confidence and renewed optimism on the Philippines to stimulate greater trade, investment, and tourism. The most important provisions of the 1987 Philippine Constitution which pertain to the framing of the Philippine foreign policy are as follows. Article 2, Section 2, the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy, adopts generally accepted principles of international law as part of the law of the land, and adheres to the policy of peace, equality, justice. Article 2, Section 7, the state shall pursue an independent foreign policy. In its relations with other states, the paramount consideration shall be national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest, and the right to self-determination. Republic Act No. 7157, otherwise known as Philippine Foreign Service Act of 1991, gives mandate to the three pillars of the Philippine foreign policy as follows. Number 1. Preservation and enhancement of national security. Number 2. Promotion and attainment of economic security. Number 3. Protection of the rights and promotion of the welfare and interests of Filipinos overseas. These pillars overlap and cannot be considered apart from each other. Together with the 8 foreign policy realities outlined by the President, they reinforce each other and must be addressed as one whole. These 8 foreign policy realities are China, Japan, and the United States, and their relationship will be determining influence in security situation and economic evolution of East Asia. Philippine foreign policy decisions have to be made in the context of ASEAN. The international Islamic community will continue to be important for the Philippines. The coming years will see the growing importance of multilateral and interregional organizations to promote common interests. The archipelagic state, the defense of the nation's sovereignty and protection of its environment and natural resources can be carried out only to the extent that it asserts its rights over the maritime territory and gets others to respect those rights. The country's economic policy will continue to be friendly to both domestic and foreign direct investments. And lastly, overseas Filipinos will continue to be recognized for their critical role in the country's economic and social stability. And now, let's talk about the economic policy in the Philippines. Philippines' economy is considered as one of the most dynamic economies in East Asia and the Pacific. The Philippines has traditionally had a private enterprise economy, both in policy and in practice. The government intervened primarily through fiscal and monetary policy and in the exercise of its regulatory authority. The economic policy in the Philippines has different types, namely monetary policies, influencing the supply and demand for money through changing interest rates and money supply. Fiscal policies, government changes to taxation and spending levels to influence aggregate demand. Supply-side policies are policies aimed at increasing productivity and efficiency in the economy. This can involve free market policies, interventionist supply-side policies. Microeconomic policies. This includes tax, subsidies, laws and regulations, pollution permits, advertising, nudges, government price control, changes in property rights, policies to reduce unemployment, and labor market regulation. Labor market policies includes minimum wages, maximum working weeks, legislation to prevent zero-hour contracts, free childcare support, progressive tax and benefit system to reduce poverty. Tariff or trade policies includes a government's trade policy may be to seek free trade deals and the reduction of tariffs, or a government may pursue a form of protectionism. It could also involve joining trading blocs and areas of economic union such as the EU. In 2019, the Philippines was one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The rude awakening from the pandemic was that the services and remittances-led growth model doesn't do too well in a global disease outbreak. The Philippines' economic growth faltered in 2020, entering negative territory for the first time since 1999, and the country experienced one of the deepest contractions in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Philippine Secretary of Finance Carlos Dominguez said the country has made significant progress in containing the pandemic and will return to normal this year. He said the growth expects the economy to grow between 7% and 9% for 2022, accelerating from the 5.6% growth reported in 2021. That would be all. Thank you.